Notts County Talk. It is episode 113 of the Pavis Perspective, and we have a massive episode for you. Not only is it Mansfield away, we really do owe them after what they did to us at Mead Lane, but it's also transfer deadline day. Are we going to get anyone else through the door? There's rumours of a striker coming in. Is it going to happen? I'm not sure. Will we see any departures? I don't know. George, how are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Pretty hectic week, but that's how we like it. Looking forward to the game on Saturday, though, and looking forward to see if there's any, late comers in the window.
I don't know.
Late leavers.
Is this just me, or I feel like Notts don't do things right to the wire? I was even surprised we got anyone in yesterday of how late we usually do it, especially with these owners. And we'll talk about our signing tomorrow as well. Our signing yesterday. We'll talk about that. Let's see who we've got with us then. Loads of you this evening. So please do drop us a subscription if you haven't already. Evening Steve, Mark, Samuel, who is a channel member. Milkman Hero here every single week. Ian, Dave, Paul, Pythagorean, Royston, Paul, Jane, Dave. So many of you to read out. Adam, channel member as well. James, thank you so much. Just become a YouTube member. Really appreciate that. James helps us produce all the content we do. So big thank you for that. There's so many of you to read out. Lee, Martin, channel member as well. Indica, loads of you there. So thank you so much. Really do appreciate that. If you're listening back on Spotify, give us that 5-star review. And as always, we are powered by Better Bytes Computers. Use the code Pavis Perspective to get refurbishment discounts, or just if you're buying refurbished computers. Let's get into it then, George. No Mansfield fan tonight. We pretty much discussed it, didn't we? And there's so much to talk about. And we know what's going to be said about Mansfield. We know all about Mansfield. We didn't play them that long ago, so we're gonna rattle through whatever happens. Finn says Jatu announcement in 15 minutes. We'll see. If they do announce it, a bit rude they didn't announce it at 7:30, like Maynard.
Yeah. Well, it was just before, wasn't it? It was a few minutes before 7:30, just to give us that few minutes to prepare ourselves. But we'll see.
We'll see. You never know. You never do know. If that flicks up, I mean, if anyone gets a notification before we do on our phones, let us know. Let's talk about Barrow then. We didn't get to do that last week. We didn't get to talk about the game before because it was the Stockport game and it was called off. But let's talk about the Barrow game. One that I didn't make, but you were there. So give us your thoughts on that one.
I feel like it was the first time that we've been really, really frustrated by a team, like thoroughly frustrated, as in, we really struggled to sort of have a really good breakthrough. Don't get me wrong, we had some decent chances and we did create some gaps, and we actually hit them on the counter a couple of times as well. But yeah, they're where they are in the league for a reason. They were a difficult team. I think on the day as well, either team could have won, and you probably could have said, that we'll value for it, because I think both sides had chances. I think from my perspective, I think what's changed, in the short space of time, is we're not taking as many risks when passing, just to shore up sort of giving away possession so freely. And I think that's what we saw against Barrow, whether it's just because they were sort of playing that low block and, you kind of have to play like that a little bit more. Time will tell. But I think that is going to be the tweak that we see from Maynard personally. In terms of conceding fewer goals, just being a little bit more assured with the passes that you do make. And, it's for me, looking at it, it looked like it was one of those where if the pass is on pass, if you think, there's a high chance the pass is on, take it. But if not, don't do it. Jody Jones as well, is such a good player. We're so lucky to have him. I think we need to enjoy him, to be honest. I think of a player of Jody's level, unless we get promoted this season, I can't see him being a League 2 player again next season. He's so good.
That's my thinking. I think we've said this a couple of times in recent weeks. If we don't go up, there's a good 2 or 3 players that are definitely, I would put 110% won't be at Mead Lane next season. And I'll say Maka, Jody,
Sloth
definitely won't be there. You're right, 100%. Possibly Crowley. I don't know. His performances have just dipped a little bit recently, but he's still a fantastic player. So I don't know. It's interesting. from what I gather, and you might put me wrong here, it didn't sound, because obviously I didn't get to the game, it didn't sound like the best start to the game from Knott's perspective.
Yeah, sort of. I'm saying after 5 minutes, like Barrow had a really good 15 minutes where they just had a good few chances and they were putting us under quite a bit of pressure. So it wasn't the most ideal start to a game, but then we sort of built into it and then we sort of controlled possession there for the majority of the remainder of the game.
I think they are one of the worst teams on paper to try and have a new manager bounce against. I think they're just horrible. Like the way they play and the way their gamesmanship and the way they break things down. It's just not. Like I remember
the way they conduct themselves as well. Like their technical area was, I don't know, it was like insane, really.
In what way?
The tackle that everyone's talking about with Jody, where it's sort of on that borderline of being a red, and their manager, it's Pete Wide, isn't it? Their manager,
yeah.
Like he was sort of like clapping and sort of goading. Not long after that happened, our fans, and you could see that he was like trying to get a reaction from the fans behind the technical area, and he got that at the final whistle, and he was giving it back, and then some of their staff were sort of giving it back. I just think there's just no space for that. I don't think. I think not at this level anyway. I'm so glad that our staff don't conduct themselves like that, because I think it's a bit embarrassing, to be honest.
Yeah.
He was up there in my estimation, to be honest, but he lost a few points there. I think Pete Wild, because what he's done at Barrow is fantastic, but to conduct yourself like that, you just lose a bit of respect for me.
Yeah. I've seen the tackle. I've seen it from two different angles. The first angle is the one probably everyone saw first, where someone had filmed it on their phone. To me, I didn't think it was a red card tackle from that angle. I think it was a very cynical tackle that was a borderline red, but I don't think it was a red. And I watched it a second time from a more like side-on angle. It's a red card tackle. It is definitely a red. He absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty much where the angle that we have, isn't it? Like where we sit. It's pretty much bang on where the tackle happened, and I couldn't believe he got away with it. I really, really couldn't believe he got away. Like the place, I know fans are obviously biased, in any club, but the place went crazy. Like we were all going mad. Like we couldn't believe what we were just seeing. It was the second time it happened in the game as well. I just felt like the ref had lost the game a little bit at times on Saturday.
Yeah, like Ian's right here. He says if it kicked off due to his reaction, it would have been the fans' fault.
Yeah, so, exactly. Yeah,
I mean, like, even if you're applauding that a cynical foul, like a tactical foul, that's more than a tactical foul, isn't it? It's smashed into him. And do you know what makes like it's more sickening is that it's on Jody, who's got a history of awful injuries. Like, could you imagine if it caused another injury like that? Well, it would be, wouldn't it? It would be a player that influential to us, and he's had 2-3 big ACL injuries. I think it was a shameful tackle. He knew what he was doing. Do you know what? I've watched it again and looked at it, and he could have brought him down without going in like that. He could have brought him down with one of the cynical trips or something. So yeah, Barrow, don't surprise me. From the first minute I ever came across Barrow, which was that 3-0 at Meadow Lane, the club haven't changed. We got a 1-1 draw at their place, maybe undeservedly. I think they were kind of the better team after 30 minutes. They got 1-1 draw at our place. We came away disappointed with a 1-1 draw. Sounds like they won the FA Cup. So, we'll leave it there with Barrow. Maybe we'll meet again in the playoffs. I'd love it if we beat them. Love it if we beat them.
Love it if we beat them.
But yeah. Hang on. I've got a notification here. Tom Axel George Villa centre-back pairing joining for promotion brick wall. I'd be dribbling it out the back. I would 100%. I'd take it to at least the edge of the area. Maybe even go further.
What does CB stand for, Callum?
Centre back. You've got to be centre back, George.
Might not be. You might be thinking something else.
Class broadcasting pairing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Could be that.
It's definitely that.
It's definitely that. But yeah, I think a 1-1 draw is a bit like you told me second half was shocking. I spoke to my dad. He said second half was shocking. People were saying the second half was shocking.
It was just a little bit. It just lacked that, that sort of inspiration. I think that we've seen a lot of. But you can't have both sides of the coin. Do you know what I mean? People are complaining that we're drawing 5-5. Like we can see in those two games, including the 5-5, we lost, was it 4-0 as well before that? So we conceded nine goals in 2 games. So there's two sides to the coin. I mean, it can't always be as exciting as we've seen it because we're conceding too many goals. But I got to be honest, that second half, it was a little bit underwhelming at times, to be honest.
Could you imagine having to play them over a 2-legged playoff?
I think we'd batter them, to be honest. I think we'd do them.
That'd be so awful to see them. Like, could you imagine watching them defend a lead? How much time wasting would you get? It would be awful.
We do them, though. I think we do them in the playoffs. I really do.
We definitely owe it them. 100% owe it them.
It's like Barrow and Wood, isn't it? Like they were, you're so difficult to score against, and then we put 3 past them when we really needed to in the playoffs. So.
Yeah, I think what you're saying about goals conceded as well is very, very true. We've gone from conceding 9 goals in 2 games to 1. And I know we could have conceded more. Like, I know it didn't. Did they hit the woodwork?
Yeah. We rode our luck at times for sure. Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like in recent games they would have scored those chances. So I think it's not the end of the world. And we made up ground on a few teams, didn't we? Made up ground on Mansfield, who another manager I cannot stand his Clough. I don't know if you saw his post.
Did you see his post? It stinks, doesn't it?
Do you know what?
Stinks.
He is smart. Do you know why he's done that? Maybe he's annoyed at the Wimbledon game, but you get that in the referee's head for the following week in the derby. 100% he's done that. And he's saying it now, and he's made a massive thing of it. And no matter, he'll get a fine for that. But you can guarantee that referee, whoever we have on Saturday, has that in his head. Guarantee. Yeah. No, Clough goes in the same bracket for me as the Cowleys, Pete Wild, even though I wasn't even at the game, and Steve Evans.
The funny thing about the Pete Wild situation, it's very, very similar to the way Ian Evatt was carrying on when he was Barrow manager, and they beat us 3-0. And they beat us 3-0. Do you know what I mean? Just take it and run. But he still wanted to give a bit to the fans, didn't he? Yeah. So it's just that sort of, I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. It's not like I don't want to sit here and look like I'm being salty because we drew to Barrow, but I just think there's so much better ways to conduct yourself. And I'd have more respect for them as a club if they didn't conduct themselves.
I don't think you're not even wrong in saying that. The way you conduct yourself, don't clap an awful tackle on a player that's had 2 ACL injuries.
It wasn't like a direct thing where he clapped the player for doing it.
He ran on the pitch and shook his hand.
But I think like when they subbed that player off, then there was obviously boos going around, and he was like giving it like claps and like making sure that you could, like, to be fair, we sit right at the top of the Pavis and you could hear his clap from the top of the Pavis. He was really giving it some. Yeah.
I can't stand going back to that Clough thing, and we'll talk about Mansfield a bit more in a minute because we're going to talk about the transfer window first. I can't stand managers that are that arrogant they have a go at the reporters.
I feel a bit sorry for that reporter.
The guy asked him a question. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it because it's toe curling. He said he asked him a question. He kind of answers it, and then the reporter says something like, "So what was the issue?" And the reply is, "I've just told you." Like, I don't like that. The guy's doing his job. Just stop being like that. And you know what? Since the owners came in, we've had no manager like that. Whether you like or rate the managers, we've had no one of that level. We've had a few like ups and downs, but I remember when we had Nolan and Harry. No, nothing like that. I mean, like Luke Williams would never conduct himself like that.
No.
Birchnell had a bit of fire to him, but never anything like that. Ardley was fine.
Birchnell makes me laugh because he didn't have, he just seemed like that guy didn't have a sting in his tail. Talked about not getting pulled into like sideline antics. Halifax away, he's squaring up to the what's his name?
Fourth official.
No, the assistant manager of Halifax. Insane.
Yeah,
crazy
but
stuff.
I think, yeah, we'll see at the end of the season who's where and who goes up. But I've seen people here saying they'll prefer Wrexham and Mansfield up over Barrow. Big shouts there.
The thing I think with Wrexham is it's sort of inevitable, I think, because of the money that they're spending. If it's not this season, it's next. If it's not next, it'll be the one after. It was one of the three, wasn't it?
I don't really
It's
care about them anymore.
Yeah, I don't. Because it's 3 up and then playoffs. It's not like as much of a rivalry, I don't think, anymore.
Did you get Wrexham tickets?
No, have you?
No, I'm not just saying it's one of the worst away days in the league. I just think it's awful. There's not that this is the be all end all, but if I remember correctly, you can't get a drink in the away end. And the only place to go is a pub that home and away fans go in, like a 5-minute walk from the ground. Like, it's just not. I just don't really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, some people let me know in the chat if you enjoy Wrexham away. It might be the results we've had there in the past couple of seasons, but I just don't necessarily like it. And
I'll tell you what, I know we lost when we went there, but what a moment that was when John Bosco scores that free kick.
Oh, incredible.
Unmatched.
Incredible.
Unmatched.
Yeah.
Best feeling
absolutely ever. Incredible. Now, I've got to talk about this because I was pretty annoyed about this. Stuart says, and I assume this has auto-corrected from Walker to Warner, but as a Norwich season ticket holder, you have a great loanee in Warner. I'm not having he signed 3-4 days before he shouldn't go in the team. If he signed 10 minutes before kickoff, and I know we drew 1-1 and defensively we're okay, he should have gone in that lineup because now we've got a predicament. Now, do you put Warner in straight for a derby match? I don't know. I was adamant he was starting. We were sure he was starting against Barrow. And now you are in a bit of a situation. I don't care how good he is, but it's very different putting him in Barrow at home to Mansfield away. Very different. What if he makes an error for like a big goal? Then what? Confident shot for 2 or 3 games? I'm not saying that'll happen. I think he's supposedly a good player, but I would have definitely started him 100%.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Just dropping him in for a Mansfield away game?
Yeah, look, I think as much as it's a massive game for us, it's a derby game, isn't it? They're the games that he's going to have to use to get him, playing in if he wants to sort of play in all the important games for Notts, because we've got so many games like that coming up, really. And then if we have a playoff push as well, that's what he's got to get used to. And I think playing at championship level, he's going to have had that sort of similar pressure on him, isn't he? So why not put him in? His qualities are there. We're dying out for someone like that. Put him in.
What if he's an unused sub on the bench again? I'm not saying anything about the result. Just forget that part.
If he's not in the following week, it's just frustrating, isn't it? Fair enough. Give him a couple of weeks to settle in. At the most, I think he should have been in first game. I'm not a football manager, am I? So it's one of those. But for me, he's got to be in on Saturday.
He has to be. What was the defense like? I think it's happened. I think we've signed Jota. I think.
Have we?
Viable striker Alassane Jota, not accounting for €150,000.
Who's put that?
That it doesn't translate. It's that guy, isn't it? It's the guy that announced something earlier. Yeah, it doesn't translate.
I'll translate it quickly.
It might have happened. If it has happened, that's interesting.
It's interesting having someone sort of like Fabrizio releasing our transfer news before we do.
Well, who's the guy who worked for BT? I don't know.
Fabrizio follows him as well, so sort of gives it a bit of credibility. Viborg sells Alassane Jota to Notts County for €150,000. That's just over 1.1 million kroner. The striker wanted to go to England rather than Norway. And Christian Sund, he sets contract until summer of 2026 at the League Two club.
If Alassane Jata's not in that starting lineup on Saturday, I'm not invested anymore. But no, a lot of people here saying they're happy with that signing. Do you know what? I don't have a clue. I'm not excited. I'm not upset. I'm not disappointed. I'm nothing. I don't have a clue. I honestly don't have a clue. I don't know. Apparently, he's not fantastic in the air. Apparently, he's better at running in behind the defence. But there we go. George, what's your thoughts on
that? Yeah. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know where I stand with it because maybe we do need another striker. It's weird because I feel like I've been sat on this podcast for the last few weeks leading up to January as well, and talking about, a lot of talks about sustainability and stuff like that. And, we sign a loan centre back from Norwich, which, is decent. He's obviously a good player. But I don't get why I'm not snubbing it. But I don't really get the urgency for a striker. Maybe there's movement somewhere. I don't know. I hope not. I really hope not.
Did you see earlier that Langstaff to Middlesbrough at 11 a.m. was 20-1, and now he's 4-5 to go to Middlesbrough? But there's nothing anywhere about that.
He's just from up them ways, isn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, there's nothing anywhere. I've searched his name and nothing comes up. So,
mate, can you imagine if that happened?
Yeah, but I don't think it will happen.
First Williams, now Langstaff.
It won't happen.
But 150,000 euros.
That's a massive amount for Knots.
That's what I mean. That's the biggest fee. I think that's double the biggest fee that these owners have ever paid.
I think it's 50 grand, isn't it? The most they paid.
I think they paid a bit more for Carl Roberts, if I remember rightly.
Oh, yeah. So I think, what's that? My conversion's not great. I'm just going to do it off the top of my head. Is that like £120,000?
Yeah. More or less. Probably a little bit more than 120k. But this is what I mean. Why couldn't we have used that money on a defender? Maybe I don't know.
They have to be confident he's the right player. Spending that much money in January.
Yeah.
Wow. I can't sit here and say like it's a good signing because I have no idea. And I don't think you can't even find enough clips to even make an assumption, really. I think he scored a winning goal against Copenhagen, didn't he? But I'd love to ask like a Danish. He's come from Denmark, hasn't he? Yeah, I'd love to find like a Danish. Hang on, we asked on the interview, didn't we, to Chris and Alex Reeds? We asked what the standard of the Danish league was like, didn't we?
Yeah,
we did. And they said it pretty much equates to like League 2, League 1, I think. So if it's League 1, there we go. What do you think? 6'4". We definitely lack height in this team. 100% lack height in this team. It does give us another option. Do you think it gives us enough an option to completely change things around? Because sometimes swapping out an attacker and changing the way you play can relieve so much pressure.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I think from what I've seen, obviously, there's not a great deal about him. Obviously, there's a few things online saying that he's better at getting in behind than he would be sort of holding up. But if we could have that option off the bench to hold up play, go long now and again and just play it off, I think that could be amazing for us. If you've got someone like someone like that and Langstaff's playing off him, it'd be unreal. It
would, yeah. People being very, what they're saying is true in the chat. So valued at 400k in the summer, but contract up so that they've got rid. Chris, owners wouldn't spend 150k on a whim. If we're looking to be a sustainable club, you've got to have some kind of faith in this being a correct signing for us. You have to.
Elisha Sam, Volume 2.
If he shows that form Eli Sam showed for about 6 games, we'll laugh him. Just turn up in the playoffs, score the winner. That's 150k paid back. But the owners have some kind of stake in Viborg, don't they? So
yeah.
So yeah, it's someone said here, a bit of money's going back in the owners' pockets, which is good.
Not really, though.
What do you mean, not really?
Well, that's not how it works.
Well, of course
they're not going to withdraw that money from the football club, are they?
Who knows?
Well, they're not, are they?
Could be straight into their Monzo.
I doubt they even have Monzo.
They defo do.
They definitely don't.
Defo do. Monzo's class. You don't even get charged for transactions abroad. If anyone wants my Monzo to transfer some money, I'm more than happy to give it you.
Given the sort code and account number.
1, 2, 3, 4. Someone just sent me 150,000 euros. Alas Sanjata's agent, it says. Got him. Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy with that. As happy as I can be. Another option. Bring him off the bench. Scores a winner against Mansfield. 150,000 back.
Do you know what, right? You know, I'd like to see from Knots, like an unreal, you know, one of those like almost comedic videos when they like launch a player and like say that a player's joined a club. It's pretty similar to what Swansea did with Williams. Just something funny like that. That'd be unreal. I'd love something like that.
I would, yeah. I think our media team are really good. I think they're really, really good. No Jata, no Party.
I think they're good. I think they're good, but I'd like to have a little bit of who are really good at it. Is it
Burnley?
Burnley, yeah.
Burnley are really good at it.
Love that.
People are getting really clever with it. We spoke about the traitors last week, but Blackburn did a traitors announcement. That was a pretty good one. So yeah, I'm just waiting for that to be made public now, because, like you said, that the agent is followed by Fabrizio. He reported it last night. It looks done. Lots of Jata puns coming up. Is it Jata? Is it Jata? Is it? I don't know. Jata. We'll see. We'll see when he scores. Could be. It could be. It could be. Yeah, Swansea Star Wars parody was embarrassing, George.
Like, I like that though. I think, you know, when they're rubbish, I think it makes them better, because it's like they at least have tried. It's not even like at least they've tried. If I made something like that and it's for a football club, I'd purposely make it look bad, because I think it's funnier. Like if it looks crisp and real, it's a bit boring, isn't it? It's a bit too professional, a bit boring. Make it comedic. Yeah.
If that does happen, then we'll have one of the Notts County Talk team that will be doing a reaction to his signing if it's made official. If you haven't checked out Jordan's reaction to a signing yesterday that we are yet to even mention, because so many things have happened on the show, but we loaned Charlie Colkett yesterday from Crewe, didn't we? So if you haven't seen Jordan's reaction video, please do go and have a look at that, because he's got some good points in there. And I must say, if Jordan is watching, his lighting's superb, isn't it, on his videos? He loves a little bit of, to make it a bit of an ambience there.
It's wonderful.
Say that again.
It's wonderful.
It is absolutely wonderful, isn't it? It's wonderful. So go and have a look at that. And we've got 2 signings. I think we're done for incomings now, do you? I'll be very surprised if anyone else. But give me another defender and I'll bite your hand off.
Don't do that.
I'll do that. Do you think there'd have to be outgoings?
Yeah, 100%.
Who? Loan or permanent? Can I give you a prediction?
I don't think there's going to be any permanent outgoings. I think it'll be loans. I don't really see anyone coming in for what we have really available.
Fair enough. I think that Marias now is.
Yeah. Well, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Bringing a striker in, we've still got Scott, Langstaff, McGoldrick, sort of that can play that.
Now, so, if you've already voted on our poll, which was, are you happy with the transfer window? I'm sorry, but I don't think there's a revote option. So
there's not. So make a new account, subscribe.
That's probably the most sensible thing to do. Yeah. Everyone's saying it is just a bit of gossip at the moment. It is. I'm not getting excited, and we're talking about him as if he's just signed. It's not an official, not an announcement, but it has been announced by a very credible source. So
it's happening. It's happening. Don't worry.
Could you imagine if it doesn't happen now? We've just wasted everyone's time for 10 minutes.
Well, to be fair, we waste everyone's time for about 45, 50 minutes every Thursday. So 10 minutes ain't bad.
Yeah, that is very, very true. Someone said here, George, off topic, what's going off with Slocum? Do you know in that video of injuries, I don't think Slocum was talked about.
I can't remember now, to be honest.
I think he's the only one not spoken about.
What's going on with Slocum? Don't know.
There we go, but I don't think we'll see him again this season. Anyway, you've got Ashby Hammond ahead of him. And and you've got Stone ahead of him. So I think, yeah, I just think that's that. Right, Mansfield then. We're a bit of a new look side now since we last played Mansfield. We've got Warner in, who goodness
Jatta.
me. Yeah, Jatta,
Shaking.
Warner, Colquitt, Robertson since we last played them. We've
Maynard.
got 4 new players and a new manager. It cannot be as bad. Please, I'm touching wood here. It cannot be as bad as the game at Medellin.
Oh no!
What's on there? It cannot be as bad as that. We were absolutely done. Scored in the opening 2 minutes and then didn't get a sniff of the ball for the rest of the 90. They are ravaged by injuries. There's a lot of talk here that Aidan Flint is injured for them. I'm not getting my hopes up, especially in derbies, and the way like Nigel Clough is, I would not be surprised if he, if he were to just be like, yeah, he's injured, and then he turns up.
I thought he was lucky against us anyway last time.
Who was? They battered us, George.
No, they were lucky.
Absolutely battered us. There's no way they were lucky. We didn't get a sniff of the ball.
Lucky.
We were embarrassed. I'll tell you who were lucky. It was Wrexham. They were lucky. Got a deflected goal when the game was very even. But no, Mansfield hammered us, and we're going to their place. George, are you confident of revenge?
What, on Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time to play. They've got 2 red cards, didn't they? Bowery, is it? And someone else was sent off from on
it feels like, after watching that video, it looks like Clough is on the edge, mate. So he could get a red card as well.
They're in bad form, aren't they? Really, really poor form. To say how well they've been doing, I mean, they're not in poor form, but they're not doing as well as they have been. Ian says Mansfield are the best team I've seen at our place so far. George, do you agree?
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Yeah, they were really good, weren't they? I'm just looking at their recent form.
Lucky though.
You can't. They weren't lucky. I'm not. You're being very silly now. They haven't won in 4 games and they've won 1 in 6.
It's good.
Lost to Wimbledon, but if you watch the game, like Cloughy said, stonewall penalty, stonewall. And did you like the bit where he said he's gone around the dressing room and everyone signed a letter to the FA about the referee?
Yeah.
Like he's got his like Sharpie out and he's like, come on lads, he's like let's write this down. They then drew to Sutton, who are on a bit of a revival, but that's not a very good result. Drew against Morecambe, lost to Crewe. It is a good time to be playing them. Plus said Flint was seeing a specialist. You think he would only do that if it was serious. I hope so, because he was, for me, about the best defender we've seen this season, home or away. I thought it was really, really good.
Lucky.
Everyone that's played Mansfield so far this season, almost everyone, Stockport fans said Mansfield were going to walk the league after they played them and beat them. They're falling away a little bit. They're third. I mean, I say falling away. They're third. They're now only 1 point into that top 3. We are 7 behind them, but a win could take us to 4. So it's massive. We could also fall out of the playoffs. Can you believe, as well, we're chatting about this, George, can you believe how well Harrogate are doing?
Yeah. They've got the best away form in the league, haven't they?
Are they actually?
I'm sure they have. Let me have a quick look to see if I've misquoted that.
Yeah, they have, because they've played less than the 2 above them. We could fall out of the playoffs as well. Now, how do you think our January's been? Are you happy with it?
Mate, it's hard to say. It is really hard to say. I'd have definitely liked another centre back. We got Robertson in as well, didn't we?
Yeah, Scott Robertson.
He was good on Saturday. I saw him getting a bit of stick, but I thought he was really, really good. He was very calm on the ball, pivoting nicely, can do a decent pass of each foot. I like the look of him. I think we've got a good player on our hands there.
He was really thrown in against Grimsby, wasn't he? Massively thrown in. He'd not had any football It was a very tough game. And yeah, I didn't see his improvements. But what did you like about him? I know you've just given a few things there. Did he look like he's a player that's going to have energy? Because John Bostock, as much as I like him, he's sometimes running on fumes.
He just makes himself available as well. I do like that. He's always seems to be available to receive the ball. And yeah, he's good at turning out as well, like receiving the ball and just turning it out, which I think we do need to do a little bit quicker in midfield at times. Yeah, he looks promising. I think if he builds on that performance, I think, like I say, we've got a very good player there.
Yeah, Chris agrees with you. Says Robertson did well and broke up play too. A bit of tenacity in the midfield. Look, we're not going to have Palmer back, so we have to do what we can. We've got Charlie Colkett in, and he obviously has a massive injury record. Other than long-term injuries we've had to Scott and also to Palmer, I think, touch wood again, because I don't want to be jinxing things. This could be an awful episode if I'm jinxing a couple of things. We seem to manage players that have had injuries fairly well in terms of like game time and things like that. And as long as we try not to let teams do what Barrow did to us and absolutely smash into Jody Jones. But it could be a good signing. But do you worry about that injury record? Like, it's almost as... they're not as serious injuries as Jody, but there's a lot of them. One game this season, I believe.
Yeah, I think you've got to worry a little bit, haven't you? Because injuries are different. Like you can manage an injury, but if it just keeps cropping up, it's one of those, isn't it? But time will tell.
Yeah. Tony, not a massive fan of Bolton, but he was brilliant on Saturday. We haven't mentioned him, George. We've got to give him credit because we've not always given him credit on the channel. I've been really impressed with him since Harrogate away, where he was the only player that I got. Him and Jody were the only player that took any credit from me. Mm-hmm. Is he making himself a firm choice now as a starter?
Yeah, I think from available selection, 100%. Yeah,
I'm happy with that. I mean, games like this are the one where you're going to find out, aren't they? Mm-hmm. Games like this one, but you would have him with Warner and Cameron, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
we'll go for that then. Start to think about, and don't pop them in the chat just yet, but start to have a think about your score prediction for the weekend. You know, we've got injuries to big Mansfield players, red cards to Mansfield players that have been influential this season. We've got new signings, we've got a new manager. It's going to be a very different game to that 4-1. I hope that is sickening, what I'm looking at now, George. We know we concede a lot, and we mentioned it. We've conceded 53 goals this season. Mansfield have conceded 24 goals all season. That's 6 less than Barrow. And Barrow's defence, we know, is a difficult one. So that really concerns me. 24 goals is unbelievable to concede. They're on to concede like 40. Less than 40, if I make that correct. It might be a little bit more. Can we break that down? And how do we break it down?
To be announced in the next 5 minutes, mate, I think.
How do you know?
No, I'm joking. No, that was my solution to breaking them down, Jatta. But
I see. That's a good one. Went over my head. I'm not smart enough to keep up with you.
Cheers, mate. I think we can. I do. I think we can break any team down on our day. Look, we opened them up fairly quickly at Med Lane, didn't we? So I can't see why we can't do it again.
Yeah, we opened up once, George. You're saying they're lucky. We opened up once, and then they switched on. So going back to what you just said, are you predicting an 8:15 announcement for Jatta?
I think so. I'll just keep pushing it to every 15 minutes.
You're in the know, I think.
ITK.
I don't even know your job. Are you a football agent? Who's on? You pick three Notts players to have on your books as a football agent. Who are you having?
Langstaff. I'd probably say Matty Palmer. And then Jody Jones, probably.
I'd have them three, and I'd have my phone on silent all the time. And then finally, Macro come up and say, any news, boss? I'm getting a bit older now. I want to go and play a high level. I say, nothing, absolutely.
Yeah, not 20 for another 2 years, mate.
Yeah, Middlesbrough on the phone with a 15 million bid. I say, Same, no, absolutely nothing, mate. Unfortunate. I just let my phone die and just never charge it either.
Yeah.
I think that's how I'd handle the situation.
Good
Right,
idea.
George, 2 minutes away. Are we going to get an 8:15 announcement like you've predicted? Because you're definitely not his agent. We'll see. We'll see. Any questions for us ahead of this game? Get them in. Very, very true. We never spoke about this. Do you know a massive turning point in that Mansfield game was when Bostock went off injured? I completely forgot about that. Alex has just put that in the chat. That was a massive turning point, in my opinion, in that game. But, you know,
against Mansfield?
Yeah.
It was Wrexham.
Was it Wrexham?
Yeah, Bostock went off against Wrexham. Sure of it.
Maybe. It might have been Wrexham, actually. Whatever the game was.
It was, because when Bostock went off, we capitulated pretty much.
Maybe I've just read it wrong, but yeah, it was big. It was a big one. Yeah, so there we go. I'm impressed that Mansfield sold out their stands. It only took them like...
Oh, no, it's Palm. I don't know.
Palm went off against Wrexham. I don't know. It only took them a few weeks to sell out their stands for this game, so I'm really impressed with that. Have you ever been to Mansfield's ground?
Yeah.
I haven't.
Really?
I've just missed it every time. Yeah.
Wow.
But I've got friends that aren't going because they just don't like it. I've heard a lot of things about stewarding and policing.
There we go.
Oh, how have you done that then?
We've completed the sign of Gambian forward Alassane Jatta for an undisclosed fee subject to international clearance and visa approval.
How have you done that? Tell me you're not his agent.
I'm not his agent.
You must be. You must be. That's a signing completely out of the blue, isn't it? Like, where has that even come from? Within the space of 24 hours.
What a player.
Here we go. I can see Mansfield fans now, they've done this. Oh, squeaky chair there. Mansfield fans have done this. They've got the phone. They've gone,
oh, yeah, squeaky chair.
They've gone head in hands. Gutted. Absolutely gutted. So have a look on
Twitter.
Great signing
that is. That's so exciting. Do you know what? That gives me the same level of excitement as... I remember I was away when we signed Ruben Rodriguez, and I remember that in the morning they posted the Portuguese flag with the sun emoji. And I was like, what's this?
I was
and then it led up to that. Well. And then now we've signed another interesting signing. So I'm loving that. I love that. This is what I thought it was going to be like with the new owners. And now I think you can have 2 signings from abroad per season. Is that right?
Probably. They did say it was very, very difficult.
So yeah. I love to see how that one develops. Love it. You can't help but be happy with that. But I still think we need a defendable.
James has just said in the chat that Jatta will remain in Denmark until his UK visa is finalised, so not available for Mansfield potentially. Okay.
I want to see him in a Not shirt.
Subject to international clearance, I'm pretty sure that's going to be just routine.
Yeah, I'm in a Not shirt.
Yeah, pretty much routine. We're getting our hopes up here, George. Do you know what I'm really, really pinning my hopes on? I'm really, 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 really pinning my hopes on the fact the owners would not spend that money if they weren't happy with how he was going to be. Like, we got Eli Sam right, and he was good at times. Other times he was really, really poor, but there was no money involved.
The Scorpion King.
Oh my gosh. There's no money involved in a transfer fee for that, other than maybe agent fees and a little fee to the player. This is serious money for Notts, and this is the owner's record signing ever. Massive, absolutely massive. Yes, lost Boston against Mansfield. Was out against Wrexham. We lost Palmer in that game. Yeah, that was it. Right.
Do you think that's what proportion of the Williams money do you think that is now?
A tenth.
A tenth.
Maybe a 20th. I think we got
your maths is all over the place.
I think we got 2 million for the Williams. I do. And we got 50p per goal we conceded. So
load.
No, seriously, who knows? What percentage do I think? I think we got 500,000 for Williams. That's nothing to a championship club. Nothing. What do you reckon we got?
Yeah, probably about that.
Yeah, people say now close the window. Yeah, let's close that transfer window. I bet there'll be money going on Maka to Middlesbrough now. We've signed a striker as well. So he was 4 to 5 on last time I checked. Let's just have one more little gander. Hopefully it's not changed at all.
I wish we'd start doing like
4 to 1.
I wish we'd start doing funny signing videos because that was just.
I wish we do announcement videos. Yeah, like not even if it's not funny, just a video of like a player walking out the stadium, some dramatic music, something like that, or little like teasers before it, just say, "Oh, signing's coming in." Just get me excited, you know. But there you go. Not as Twitter on meltdown. It's probably the most interesting signing into the whole league in terms of being known, isn't it? Yeah, Dizzy return video was great. That was good. Yeah. Right then, George. Like you say, we wasted 46 minutes of people's evening, so we don't want to keep you too much long. We want you to be going and scouring the internet for Jota videos. But let's go for our lineup then. Stone in goal.
Yeah.
Who's your back 5?
On the right, I'd say Naman. At the back, Warner, Baldwin, Cameron, and then Jody on the left. Midfield, Robertson and Bostock. And then the other 3 that we all know. They pick themselves, don't they? That's what we say.
Yeah. I mean, subject to international clearance, it's probably very, very unlikely that he does play Saturday. But
do you know, bringing in a player like that as well that's played to a decent level, well, a good level really, is he going to be expecting to play week in, week out?
I don't know. Right, his record signing with his owners.
That's what I mean.
Double what Maka was bought for. I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, possibly if we go up, he's going to be playing in League One. If we don't go up, the striker ahead of him won't be with us. So, I mean, you can't really grumble either way, can you?
Mm-hmm.
So, a very, very interesting signing. Right, we've done our lineup. It doesn't really change apart from Warner coming in for us. Yeah, every week now there seems to be something announced as we do a video. So if you could just keep that going, Knots, would love that.
What will it be next week, Tom?
Well, the window's shut and we've got a manager, so I don't know.
You just say keep it going. Extension. Come on.
Yeah, Tom Wheel contract extension.
I think
stadium roof.
I think advertising boards all the way around the pitch.
Why, they're not all the way around?
Yeah, I think they're only on the Jimmy Cyril side.
Are they?
Yeah.
Unless
they're on the Pavis side. I just couldn't see them because I'm sat in the Pavis.
Well, we should go down and look over.
People in the car, let me know. Are they both sides or is it just the Jimmy Cyril side?
Okay, yeah, new hand dryers announced next week.
Oh, yeah, it has to be. It has to be. Tom, I went to the toilet on Saturday. Oh, my. There was a kid, he's probably about 10 in front of me. And there's 2 hand dryers in the Pavis and the one that I use. And he's using both of them like that. And you're literally better blowing on your hands. I was just stood there thinking, I need to make a bigger deal out of this because nothing's getting done. And the poor lad's hands up freezing.
Ring the club up then.
I think we should start an online petition. Needs to happen. I'm actually being serious.
There you go.
It's frustrating.
Right. I think someone's just said that BC Radio Nottingham was saying that is the final transfer activity. Hopefully that means outgoings as well. Has it been a good one? George, very quickly before we do the score predictions, rate our January out of 10. I'm going to say 6 out of 10.
6.
Yeah, I think we could have strengthened and we could have strengthened earlier.
But it also has the potential in a month's time to be 10. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. It does. On the face of it, last night's signing to me looks like a panic signing. On the face of it, but I know he's out of contract soon, so it could be another masterstroke kind of thing with Jody, where we get an injured player and get him back to loving football, playing football, and then we sign him permanently. But yeah, here we go. As Fabrizio says, we've got Jota in. I thought it was a hoax at first, but there we have. Got him. Score prediction then, George. Get your score predictions into the chat. What do you think? I'm going to get mine in early. 1-0 Knots.
1-0 Knots.
I think Stuart Maynard frustrates them all game, and we score. Jody Jones cuts in, bang, top corner.
Oh my God.
Jata runs out with his.
Come on, everyone. Why is everyone being so negative?
Let's see what we've got. We've got Desmond Tutu there. We've got 3-1 Mansfield, 2-0 Knots. We've got 6-1 Chickson hat-trick and Langstaff hat-trick. Joe Jones popping another 4 assists, breaking records for 30 assists this season. He could easily get 30 assists. What else have we got? We've got 5-0. Wow. We've got 4-2. I just cannot see 6 goals. They don't score. They don't concede that many. We've got 4-1 Knots. We've got 2-2 Maka and Didzi. We've got 3-0. We've got Martin that's gone for 2-0 Knots, a win and a clean sheet.
And a tough red card.
Love that. We've got 1-0 Knots. We've got 2-1 Knots, 97th minute, hour in the man. Could you imagine that? 2-0 Knots, 2-1 Knots, 1-0. Debbie's got 0-0. Knots and 0-0s. You never know. You do never know. But there we go. If you are travelling to Mansfield on Saturday, safe travels. Hopefully you enjoy the game. Hopefully it's a good result for us and we get back Mansfield for what they did to us the other month. Going to be an interesting one. See how we set up. See how our new signings slot in. Hopefully we see Warner, in my opinion. Others may be thinking differently, but we will see. Please do subscribe to the channel. Leave a 5-star review on Spotify if you haven't already. And as always, if you think of anything after the video, please do comment and leave a like.